Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast.
Welcome to Truth, Money, and Freedom. Today is Sunday, January 12th, 2020. Hey gang, it's time to update you. It's not really all that early in the morning, but I slept a long time. I had a couple of very long days without a whole lot of sleep. Let you guys know what was going on. First things first, we had our meeting, and by we I'm talking about Jimmy D, who is a very vocal patron to the Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast on YouTube, and I met up, and we did so in Springfield, Missouri, and we met with our senator, and that would be Eric Burleson. And more specifically, he is actually my senator. He represents my area. He does not represent Jimmy's area. But we met with him about the new bill that is out right now. In fact, this is the bill. And this is important, gang. For those of you who watch my channel, please watch to the end. I'm going to try and keep it short, but we've got some information we need to, actually share with you guys. This is Senate Bill 588. And this is a Missouri State Senate bill. And it's the same thing as we had 367 before. And I'm going to link this down below. This is, once again, the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Now, I will leave the links below so you guys can read the bills. And by the way, here is 67, which was last year's bill, the same bill. It never even got to the floor for a vote. It got to the floor, but it was never voted on. And I'm going to ask for all of your help now. Remember the video that I made last year about a bill that would prevent basically federal law from affecting the state of Missouri? Any federal laws that actually are anti-Second Amendment being left outside the borders of Missouri. That's what this bill is all about, but it's about so much more. And we'll get into it very soon, hopefully with Stronghorse, David Burden, and we'll do a podcast, a TMF podcast, about all the angles of the bill that this covers. And actually, David Burden is so much more well-equipped than I am to actually discuss with you what this bill represents. This is a very exciting bill. This gives a lot of power to the state of Missouri to basically keep the feds' filthy fingers out of the gun pie in Missouri, is basically what it is. So in lieu of this, I want to acknowledge there's a lot of things going on in Virginia right now, and I have not covered them. And there's many reasons why I haven't, but they're mostly personal. Have very, very limited time to work with certain things. You guys have noticed that the podcasts are few and far in between right now. I have so many things going on, and among those is the fact that, believe it or not, and I'm not joking, Jimmy D was actually here. We didn't get hit by lightning, but we got hit with a massive power surge on Saturday morning. And we also had an ice storm on Saturday. And I'm actually going to have some of that video put onto this video here so you could take a look at it and see what it was like. So we went without water for a while, and our garage door openers are fried again, along with other issues. So basically we're dealing with a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with the channel, just has to do with me trying to muddle through this thing we call life. So I'm going to basically leave these links down below. Now, I want to basically acknowledge and talk about Guns and Gadgets here a bit, because he's been doing a pretty good job in covering everything that's going on in Virginia right now. And it's not at a boiling point, but sometimes it feels like it is. So for those of you who are saying, hey, we really need you to cover Virginia, I am truly sorry. I'm having problems covering, the things that I would normally cover, even with the economy and with the geopolitical events and how it's affecting the world economy, not just the United States economy. But you guys can surf over to Guns and Gadgets. Tip of my hat to you, sir, for covering Virginia as well as you have. I am sub to him, so at any rate, what little information I've had about Virginia, I've actually mostly got it from here. But I need to get back to the crux of the matter here. And this is the Missouri Firearms Coalition. Now, there's an article in here, and it's done actually by Eric Burleson, that once again, the senator that we met with yesterday. I'm going to link this down below, and he's asking for help. And the help is not in the form of political donations. The help is in the form of political support. So I'm going to link this down below so you guys can read, what the senator had put in with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. But also, I'm going to ask if those of you who are in the state of Missouri and that are NRA members, and that's fine, I'm an MRA member, but I'm also a member of the Missouri Firearms Coalition. These people are helping the senator fight the battle in Jeff City. And the battle is, unfortunately, against the likes of very, very rich, wealthy people like Bloomberg, who are in New York, that their money is coming into Missouri to literally prevent these types of freedoms we're seeking. And I know some of you are going to put in the comments section, we don't have to fight for our Second Amendment right. We have it. It's given to us by God. I get that part. Trust me, I get it. But unfortunately, at this point in time, we have to work within the framework we have, which is basically the legal framework. Now, the stuff is going on in the background with anything that happens that benefits us or detracts from us. Now, whether or not you're involved in the things that happen that benefit or detract is completely up to you. And this is a choice we all make. We all have a certain amount of time. We all have, certain interests. Things that interest us versus things that don't interest us. But this is something I'm going to ask everyone in Missouri, and indeed everyone in the United States of America, to take an interest in, because we want to prevent what's happening in Virginia from happening in Missouri, because it's starting to simmer a little bit over here. We're not getting close to the boiling point like they have in Virginia. I do not want to give you that impression. It is not like that here. But these kinds of bills rarely pass in states, basically because they don't have enough support. People don't even know about them, and the mainstream media is not doing a darn thing to help any of us to get the information on bills like this passed. Or I'm sorry, just disseminated, so people can actually understand what's going on. So this is what I'm going to ask. Right here, we have the committee. This is the Public Safety Committee, where this bill is in, and it will probably get right through the committee like a hot knife through butter. But I do want you to understand this is the committee right here: Transportation, Infrastructure, and Public Safety. This is the Missouri Senate committee that actually has to get this bill out to the floor. And I think it has pretty good support here. But at the same time, just remember this is the committee. I will link this down below: senate.mo.gov/TRAN, T-R-A-N, for transportation. And that is the committee, gang. These are the folks who can get this out to the floor. I understand that Senator Doug Liebla is Second Amendment, pro-Second Amendment, and most of them are. There might be one or two that are not, but I think they have enough support to get it out. Here is the creme de la creme. This right here, gang, is the list of senators right here in Missouri and all their phone numbers. Here's what I'm asking. For those of you who remember, when I put out that video back in, I think it was March of 2019, almost a year ago, I had some 23,000 views on that video. If those people, which, by the way, I didn't ask for anyone to do anything with that video, because we were all under the impression it was just kind of a done deal. It was not. There was not enough show of support. And this is something that it's very important for, I think, for all of us to understand when it comes to stuff like this. Silence is acceptance for the status quo. Silence is acceptance for anything, actually, for anything to happen. That may be a detraction or maybe a benefit. But we can't be silent on this. So this is what I'm asking you guys. If you're in Missouri, of course, call up, the senators. Call them all. Call every one of them, and we have time. We have until, I'd say, probably the next 3 weeks, maybe. So in the next 3 weeks, let's call every single senator and voice our support for that bill. I think it's coming out of committee real soon. Here's the other part, too. The senator and I are going to be in contact, hopefully about once a week, so I can get status reports, and I will be reporting on this channel, the Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast, every week with any information that we have coming out of Jefferson City on this bill. So I can keep all of you updated, and we know where we need to apply pressure. In other words, who we have to call. Another thing, you guys have heard the old saying, that basically honey will get you a lot more than vinegar. Let's be polite as we call up these senators. Let's voice support for the bill, and even if we find out, if the senator gives me information and I parlay it to you guys that a senator is against it, we're not going to be nasty. We're not going to be negative. We're just going to say, I want you to understand that we really do support this bill, even though you don't. So you can say that. You can be nice. Keep it on a very even keel, even when you're dealing with, someone that may be a detractor of the bill. But guys, this is really, really important. This is the kind of bill Virginia needed and never got. And this is why they're going through the nightmare that they're going through right now. We would like to, basically curtail any type of activity like Virginia's going through in Missouri. And with a bill like this, it would help a great deal. If you remember now, the bill is exactly the same as the one that was last year that I made a video on. And also, I'm going to give you guys another promise here. I am going to, in the near future, don't know exactly when, because we have got to get our ducks in a row and get schedules aligned, but we will have the senator for a live, and I'm hoping for a live video interview, so he can talk and he can get his message out through Truth, Money, and Freedom. The other part of this is all of us have to do our part. Let's go ahead and share these videos. Guys, I often don't ask you to share videos because, you do, you don't. It really never mattered to me. YouTube numbers never matter to me, as you guys know. I'm just about getting out good information, getting out a libertarian perspective on things, the issues of the day, of finance, especially on finance, libertarian perspective, because that's not given in the mainstream media ever. It doesn't matter if you're Fox News or CNN. Libertarian point of view is simply not allowed on these channels. But this is important. I'm going to ask all of you to please, please work with us on this. Now, if you're not in Missouri, you can still help. In the last video that I did back in March of last year, there were so many people that said, oh my gosh, if you guys get this passed, I'm moving to the state of Missouri. That's the kind of phone call you can make if you don't live in Missouri. So if you're in, let's just say you're in Nevada, you could call up senators right here in Missouri, ask them to pass the bill, and also tell them, hey, listen, you guys get this bill passed, I'm thinking very strongly about moving to your state. So when populations start moving in, that brings in, basically businesses, jobs, and that's the kind of thing that happens. That's the influx of, people coming in from different states because they love the Second Amendment. They want to support the Second Amendment, and they themselves want to exercise their freedoms under the Second Amendment like they cannot do in their, in the state they're in now. So that's what you can do if you're not in the state of Missouri. Those of you in the state of Missouri, it's obvious. Call up every one of them. Now, I'm going to say, and let's see, where is Eric? Right here. Eric Burleson, don't bother calling him. He is the sponsor of the bill, unless you intend to call him up and say, hey, man, thank you. Thank you for even sponsoring the bill. But there's no reason for you to call him up and say, hey, you need to pass this bill. He already knows. He's trying to get it done. So just remember, Eric Burleson, if you guys look at the Senate bill here, is the sponsor of the bill. There we go. Let's see. Introduced by Senator Eric Burleson. It's right here. Right here, gang. So you can see that, and that's the same. And once again, it's the same bill as last year, 367. And it is, once again, introduced by Senator Burleson. So just to keep that in mind, if you guys are going to make a list and you're going to say, hey, listen, I'm going to do 5 phone calls a day on this, that's great. That would be awesome. And that's a measured approach. And believe me, making 5 phone calls a day won't take you, literally probably 10 minutes a day to do this. Just voicing your support. Just go down the list. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I know already people in Missouri who will be doing the same exact thing. But think about this, gang. This is a state Senate. This is not, the Senate of the United States. Guys, if they each got 500 phone calls on this bill, in support of this bill, I think that would probably be nearly record-breaking for a bill in Missouri to get that much support. But if they got 1,000, I mean, it would be overwhelming. So this is why I'm asking, please share these videos. I'm going to be directly contacting, along with David and with Jimmy, we're going to be contacting Second Amendment friendly YouTubers to ask that they pass along this information. It doesn't matter if they share my video or if they make a new video with the information in the comment section, all the links that I have. I don't care. Either way, I would really like to have their support so we can get this bill passed. It is a great bill. We've had a couple of people looking at it that are constitutional scholars. They can't find there's a few minor things that they would change, but they said they're not all that, big a deal. But that's it. It's a pretty solid bill. You guys can read it yourselves. For those of you who are watching this video that have a Second Amendment YouTube channel, first of all, thank you very much. I mean, you're doing a service to, not just the larger YouTube community, but also you're telling the world, how wonderful things can be in the United States when we do have the Second Amendment. But I'm going to ask you a favor. Please let your folks know. Please share some of these videos. I will be doing updates on this. Please share them or remake your own videos with the information that I provide. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me either way. What's important is that the phone calls get made to the senators. Now, there's inside work that has to be done to get this bill passed, but the senator can take care of that. He needs us to actually start calling these folks and letting them know that we're supportive of the bill. So that's what I'm asking. We're going to keep up the pressure, and we have about 4 months to get this done this year. That's it, 4 months. So we need to start now. This is the time to begin. Also, remember now, the Missouri Firearms Coalition is helping as well, and if you join them, that gives them, basically a little bit more money to deal with this as well, and they are very much involved in this bill, trust me. In fact, I do believe that, I can't remember names now, but Aaron, I believe, is the guy who is the main guy who is stumping for this bill with Missouri Firearms Coalition, is going to be in Jeff City on Wednesday, meeting with the senator. So, gang, this is important. This is probably about as important as a video as I've ever done before, for you guys to actually do something to help out the state of Missouri. Once again, if you're not in Missouri, you can still help, and I'm asking you, please do help. We're not asking for money. We're asking for your time to make phone calls to Missouri senators in support of this bill. And you know what to do if you're outside the state. You know what to do if you're inside the state. And also to all of you guys with Second Amendment friendly YouTube channels, please help. We're asking for your help. You guys, once you read these bills, and read them all the way through, by the way, when you start reading them at the beginning, it seems like it's not a very well-constructed bill, but after you get to the end of it, you go, holy crap, I see how they sewn it all together. You'll see. It's only 6 pages long, doesn't take long to read. Not going to bore you with it right now. We will have an interview with the senator sometime in the very near future, and others. May have Aaron from the Missouri Firearms Coalition on as well. And may even take it a step further. We may even talk to GAO about this. But it starts now with phone calls. Doesn't matter if it's during the day, during the night. I prefer that you guys do it during the day when there's someone actually there rather than leaving a message, but leaving a message is great too. If all you have is during the evening to make phone calls or during weekends, thank you. Leave a message. Let them know you support the bill. Please comment down below in the video. Let me know that you're doing something so I can say thank you. And then maybe you can serve as an inspiration to others. And all you Second Amendment, folks out there, all you pro-gun folks, we need you. And so does the Missouri Firearms Coalition. Let's give them a little bit of love too. If you look, and by the way, I'm not I'm not saying, guys, you need to join the Missouri Firearms Coalition. It would just be nice if you could. Now, I will let you know that I am a member. Full disclosure, I did the $75 membership, which includes a member card, decal, and a T-shirt. So that's the way I'm a member with them. But you can do $35. 75, $125, or $1,000 if you really want to help. But it is the equivalent of kind of like the NRA in Missouri, except it's better and it's local. And basically the money is going directly into the Second Amendment fight here in the state of Missouri. That's where it's going. So it's not widely dispersed, or shall I say, there's no ambiguous information about the spending of money, like for instance in some of the larger organizations. So I just want to let you know that they're out here, Missouri Firearms Coalition, and I'll link that down below as well. And I need to tie this up and wrap this up. I just want to say thank you to all of you who stayed until the very end. If you stayed until the very end, please write in your comment, "From my cold, dead hands." And then I'll know that you watched this video to the very end. And thank you once again. And also, too, I want to tell you just personally, one more second. I know I keep these going forever. I just want to say that Jimmy and I, we met with the senator, and it was actually a very, very wonderful experience. He's a very, very approachable guy. He talks as much as he listens, and so he's good at actually giving you information and conveying information. He is just like he's like your next door neighbor. He's just a very approachable guy and very nice guy. And I'd like to say, because I know a lot of politicians, which is really great, is this guy doesn't have this massive ego where he's having a hard time getting his head through the door. So it was very, once again, guys, I've told you stories about politicians I've met in the past, and I have done that here on this channel. I just want to let you know that Eric is just a really good guy. He does not, for instance, he's not a Roy Blunt. Let's just say that. And I've met others, and I just wanted to get that out of the way, that this Eric guy is really cool, a really nice guy, and he agreed, to interview. He said, no problem. He says, we'll just sync up our schedules and get that done. So this is coming. You guys will be able to see him and be able to hear his voice. And also, too, I will see what I can do to link up his Facebook down below, and so you guys can go to his Facebook page. You can support him there as well. And once again, I'm going to tie this up now. And I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone in advance for starting this wheel turning. And we've got to get this wheel turning. This is what stalled the bill last year. There was no support. No one knew about it. No one was calling. And I think it was because the article that I had presented last year made it sound like it was a done deal. And it was wrong. It was wrong. It was not a done deal. There was no support coming in. So we need everyone to start making phone calls on this. And remember now, it is Senate Bill 588. Now, the only reason I put up Senate Bill 367 from last year is so you guys can actually look at it and see that it's the same exact bill from last year. There's no changes. So that's why I'm providing a link to it. But it is Senate Bill 588. That is what was introduced for this year's session. Okay, gang, thank you so much for just listening today. I know I ravel on and on and on, and I'm sorry about that, but I needed to get all this information out. And tip of my hat to all of you YouTubers that are going to pick up this information and start disseminating it among your folks. It's much appreciated. You guys have a wonderful day, and may God bless each and every one of you.